like Elik and how do you say it? Elik and Olivia and Haley here. Are you here? You can type in the chat box. If you hear me, can you hear me? Hi. All right. Good. My name's Miss Noller, not Miss McAlpin. This is Mrs. McAlpin's room, so that's why it says Mrs. McAlpin on there. But I'm actually Mrs. Noller. I'm Miss Noller, and I'm glad that you came. We're going to make some dream catchers. Actually, I'm going to give you instructions on how to make the dream catchers because you'll probably need more time than what we'll have in the workshop. But I'm going to show you what to do, and then I will give you a downloadable PowerPoint where you can do the instructions. You can do it all yourself. So I'll first go over the instructions, and then I'll give you the instructions so you can go at a slower pace at home because you probably will need an hour or two to actually make the craft, okay? So before we get started, I just want to check who I've got here. Do you have a microphone that works on your computer? Or if not, it's okay. I just want to know who I'm working with. If you've got a microphone and you can talk on the instead of chatting, let me know by raising your hand. You can go up where the little hand guy is and raise your hand just so I know, because I may call on you to talk. If that's okay. I have some stuff to read aloud, and if you don't want to hear my voice, we can hear other people's voices too. So if you've got a microphone, raise your hand and I'll connect you so you can talk on the microphone instead of just chatting. It's okay, chat works to let me know, but sometimes having the microphone is helpful. So do you have a microphone? If you are wondering how to raise your hand, you can go up to the top. There's a little guy with a hand, and I will enable the microphone for you if you have one. If you're on a computer, some computers have them, some don't. If you're on a phone, you may not be able to do it. I'm not sure. Okay, all right. So it doesn't sound like you do. I run this actually, this presentation I shared with when I was a 4th and 5th grade learning coach teacher last year. I shared this with my 4th and 5th graders. So at the end, I will also show you a recording of what I explain in case you want a visual with like a video of it. Okay, so I'm going to give you at the end of the presentation, I will go through my presentation, and then I'm going to give you the PowerPoint slides with all of the directions that I'm going to go over so that you can go at your own pace at home, because it'll probably take about an hour or two to make the craft. Maybe not 2 hours, but probably need a little more time than what we're going to have in the learning lab time or the workshop time. Okay? All right, so let me just introduce myself. I'm Miss Noller, and I'm going to be sharing you, first we're going to go over the story of the lesson of the dream catcher, and then you're going to learn how to make your own dream catcher using supplies that you have at home. Most people have these things on hand. It's not going to be any complicated thing, like you don't have to go out and buy feathers or anything like that. It's all with paper, scissors, and glue and a paper plate. And as long as you've got those things, you can make this. All right. So with that, actually in the chat box, since some of you don't have microphones, can you write in the chat box who you are, like how old you are, so I can know who I'm presenting to. And maybe you're with mom or dad watching, but let me know, so you have your name and you can tell me how old you are so I can know how old are the children that I'm presenting to, so I can talk to you a little different. I've been a 1st grade teacher before, but I've also been a high school teacher. So I do want to make sure I know how old the kids are that I'm talking to. Okay, so we've got Olivia and Haley. So Haley or Olivia's 11, and then Haley's 8. Haley's 8, Olivia's 11, and looks like, do we have Elik? Are you there still, Elik? If I've said your name right, Elik? Are you there, Elik? I'm not sure if you're there. Again, hopefully you are. I'm going to just keep going, and I'll read it since there's seems like you don't have a microphone. If you want to use, you decide you want to use the microphone, just let me know because I'm going to be reading some stuff to you. And sometimes when because I'm a 7th grade English teacher, I will let the kids read it instead of them having to listen to me. Okay. All right, Elik. Oh, good. I'm glad you're back. And Elik, I was having the kids say how old they were so that I could know who I was talking to, like, or what grade you're in. What grade or how old are you, Elik? And did I say your name correctly? Hopefully he's got Elik's got the audio back. Sounds like they were having some technical difficulties. That happens sometimes. Okay, I have it happen too. All right, so anyway, we'll move on. I'm going to go over the story of the Dreamcatcher first. I'm going to read through it. And again, like I said, I could have somebody else read it if they want, or they can just listen to my story. So, the legend of the Dreamcatcher. This is just a legend. A legend means it's not true, but it could be there's some grain of truth to the story. And that's how a lot of Native American stories, they make up their stories, but some of it could be based on truth from many, many years ago. But again, a legend is something that can't be proven to be true. Okay, so the legend of the Dreamcatcher. Long ago, and listen up because there may be some test questions at the end. This is part of the learning lab that I did before, so that's why it has a few little questions in it. Long ago, when the world was young, an old Lakota spiritual leader was on a high mountain. On the mountain, he had a vision. In his vision, Iktomi, the great trickster and teacher of wisdom, appeared in the form of a spider. Iktomi spoke to him in a sacred language only spiritual leaders of the Lakota, that's a tribe of Indians, could understand. As Iktomi spoke, he took the elder's willow hoop, which had feathers, horsehair, beads, and offerings on it, and began to spin a web. He spoke to the elder about the cycles of life and how we began our lives as infants. We then move on to childhood and into adulthood. Finally, we go to old age where we must be taken care of as infants, thus completing the cycle. But, Iktomi said as he continued to spin his web, in each time of life there are many forces, some good and some bad. If you listen to the good forces, they will steer you in the right direction. But if you listen to the bad forces, they will hurt you and steer you in the wrong direction. He continued, there are many forces and different directions that can help and interfere with the harmony of nature, and also with the Great Spirit in all of his wonderful teachings. All while the spider spoke, he continued to weave his web, starting from the outside and working towards the center. When Iktomi finished speaking, he gave the Lakota elder the web and said, see, the web is a perfect circle, but there is a hole in the center of the circle. Okay, like a spider's web. Use the web to help yourself and your people to reach your goals and make use of your people's ideas, dreams, and visions. If you believe in the Great Spirit, the web will catch your good ideas and the bad ones will go through the hole. And again, that's the note here is that some bands, Native American bands, believe that the bad ideas are caught in the web and then the good ideas pass through it. And so there's more than one way of interpreting it. That's why it's a legend. So they're saying that the good things travel through and the bad things are caught in the web. And that's kind of where the Dreamcatcher legend came from. And there's a picture of a Dreamcatcher. You've probably seen them before. Okay, so the Lakota elder passed his vision on to his people. Now the Sioux, which is another name for Lakota, use the Dreamcatchers as the way of their life. Traditionally, it is hung above their beds or in their homes to sift their dreams and visions. Good dreams are captured in the web of life and carried with them, but the evil dreams escape through the center's hole and are no longer part of them. So again, sometimes it's the opposite. Some bands believe that the bad ideas are caught in the web and then the good ideas pass through. So it's kind of depends on how they interpret it. Okay, so again, the Lakota or the Sioux believe that the dream catcher holds the destiny of their future, obtained from and this was obtained from historical documents to believe public domain. So this story was actually handed down from generation to generation about their belief in the dream catchers. That's from the Native American Lakota tribe. Okay, so just to review so that you know, this is again just the teaching part of the lesson before we get into the craft. Okay, so what tribe is telling the story? And you can write it in the chat box. You can write the letter. Is it A, Cherokee, B, Lakota, C, Pawnee, or D, Chumash? Put it in the chat box. What tribe is this Legend of the Dreamcatcher coming from? Right, the Lakota or Sioux. Okay, and then Iktomi tells his story. What is he doing? A, dancing around, B, smoking a pipe, C, spinning a web, or D, making bread? What's he doing while he's telling his story? Right, he's spinning a web because he's a spider. Okay, and then what's Iktomi talking about as he makes his web? The forces of good and evil, the harmony of nature, the cycles of life, or all of the above? This may be a trick question. The answer on this one is all of the above. So he's actually talking about all of those things in his story. Yeah, all of the above. So the forces of, so the dream catcher has to do with the forces of good and evil, nature and its harmony, and cycles of life. Okay, true or false? This is another one, maybe a trick question. The Lakota believe that the dream catcher or the web catches the good or bad ideas depending on which band or tribe you're referring to. What do you think? True or false? So the web catches the good ideas or the bad ideas depending on, and right, some believe that the bad forces go through the holes and the good forces are caught in the web, and then others believe the opposite, that the bad ideas are caught in the web while the good ideas pass through. So it kind of depends on the belief that was handed down. Okay, this brings us to the actual Dreamcatcher's craft. Again, what I suggest is to watch this. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to provide you a downloadable file. Then you can watch it at your own pace as you go. The PowerPoint that I'm going to give you, you can look at each slide and then get the things that you need. So I'm going to tell you, and then you can formulate in your head or write it down if you need to, what you're going to need to go get. You may have to locate it in your house somewhere, or maybe you have to go to the craft store if you don't have any paper. But again, if you just have paper, glues, and scissors, you may be able to just do, and colors and a paper plate, you may be able to just do it, regularly on your own. So you're going to need a paper plate with the middle cut out. Oh, and let me see if I can show you. So here's mine. I will show you at the end, but it's so like the paper plate part is, that's where you need the paper plate and you're going to cut out the middle. Okay, so you'll cut out the middle. Okay, and then you're going to need some construction paper, which is how you're going to make your feathers and your beads. So here's the feathers and the beads, which again I'll give you more directions. But you're going to make those using just paper and glue. That's all you're going to need, and scissors. So if you have construction paper, and it can be any color you want, you're going to need that. You're going to need scissors, glue stick. I suggest a glue stick and not Elmer's glue, but a glue stick will work for this. And markers, pencils, or crayons, any sort of coloring, probably not Sharpies, but like markers, Crayola markers, Crayola crayons, pencils, anything to color will work. You'll need a single hole punch just to punch some holes in things. And you'll need it to punch, you're going to punch the holes in the paper and the paper plate and the feathers that are made out of paper. So it'll all be paper. And then you're going to use a pencil. So you're going to actually need just a pencil to wrap. You don't actually have to have a sharpened pencil. You can even have a pencil be like I'm trying to see if I can show it with the camera. It can just be a pencil that's not even sharpened. Like it doesn't have to be, or it can be one that's sharpened. So if you just have a pencil sitting around that hasn't been sharpened, or it can be sharpened, it's okay if it's a sharpened one. Doesn't really matter. But you're going to need this to roll to make your the feathers. And then you're going to need some yarn. And what I did is I cut a bunch of, like what you might want to do is if you have some yarn or string, cut a bunch of it, make it real long. It shouldn't be real long, but again, 4 to 8 feet probably good. So if you have a yardstick, measure a few yards of string, and then that probably would be enough. And again, use something colorful. You can use just regular string if you want, but I'm going to show you how you're going to use all those things. But that'll be what you'll need. Again, keep in mind I'm going to go through this. I'm going to provide you the instructions in a PowerPoint that you can take and download, and then you can follow it and do the actual craft at home. Okay, so what you'll do once you get your plate, you're going to cut that middle out. Like again, like I was showing you here, you're going to cut that middle out of the plate. And then you also want to cut little divots in, let's see if I can show you here. So right along here, I colored it also, but you're going to cut little divots right here all the way along the plate and color, make it colorful. So once you cut it out, again, I have the whole thing here. Once you cut it out, you're going to make little teeny divots all the way around, just little triangles all the way around. And if you can see in the picture, it would look kind of like that one that's white with the little divots. So you cut it, and then once you've done that, then you'll color it. And then you're going to make your feathers. And how you do that is you have a piece of construction paper and you just draw them. I would say on a piece of construction paper that's about the size of notebook paper, you could make about 3 to 5 and just have them go all the way. So I kind of showed step by step. Make a big circle that goes like an oval to the top to the bottom, and then maybe divide it in half to make it sure that it becomes a feather, and put little lines on it, and then you can cut it out. And when you cut it, you can make it look like little edges on your feathers. You can also draw lines on both sides if you want. You can color it and cut it on both sides. And then how you'll do your beads is you're going to need different color strips of construction paper. So you'll cut these strips. You can use a paper cutter if it's easier, or you can just cut with scissors. And I suggest that the strips be 1 inch by 9 inch strips. So you can make, again, you may only want 5 to 6 beads, so you can do it in all the same color. You can do it in multiple colors. And then what you'll do is you'll make your beads using just a paper and glue. So you're using that glue stick, and the glue will be a little bit of glue at the top of the strip and then no glue at the bottom. And you see that pencil there? You take that pencil and you roll it real tightly all the way up to the glue, and that glue will hold your bead so that it looks like that. And then you'll want to, once it's on there, because the glue should not be on your pencil, you'll take it off of your pencil. And then, so if you can see that picture there where it's been rolled on your pencil, and then you take it out of the pencil. And you have to do that. That's where it takes a little while. If you're going to make 6, 7 beads, you have to do that to each bead. So again, that's why I said you'll need some time to do that. But then see, I put my beads, those are beads there that I'm put on my dream catcher, and then you'll put the string, you'll attach it, you'll click a little hole on your feathers, and you put those beads right on the top of your feathers. And you can do it however many, like you could put 3 on one, you can put just 1 on one, and you make as many beads as you want. And then you'll use your hole punch to place the holes at the bottom, which I'm going to see if I can show you here where the camera is. So there's little holes. You're going to put them at the bottom so that you can put your final feathers in the bottom of your. So you would just put those 3 holes, and then you'll also want to put a hole at the top so that you can hang it. So you'd have 3 holes at the bottom to hang your feathers, and then 1 hole at the top to hang your dream catcher. That's all you would need. And then what you'll do is you're going to take this long string, the long string that you have, and that's where you're going to start winding it around to make the web. You wind it around. And what you want to do is keep in mind that the paper's not real thick. So you don't want to wind so tight that it'll bend the paper, but you do it kind of loosely. And if you, like I didn't do a whole lot of webbing on mine. If you do more webbing, you might want a thicker paper plate. But keep in mind, if you have a thicker paper plate, it's harder to cut. So this is a really thin plate that I used. So I didn't want to do too much webbing because it will make it go in half when I'm going around. And those little divots, that's what helps to hold the string, is those little divots that you put in the plate. All right, and then it'll end up looking like that. And you'll tie your feathers on the 3 holes at the bottom. You'll tie that on there. And then you hang it how you like. Now I just went over a lot of instructions, and I'm going to give you this link, this PowerPoint. Let me see if I can give you a little more space to put this downloadable PowerPoint with instructions so you can do it step by step at home. And it has the list, it shows you step by step what to do. And there's a link to a video that I did with some of my students last year. So you can see, me actually I'm actually making it in the video. So if that helps, again, you can how you download the instructions is you click where it says Files 5, click that Dreamcatcher's instructions right there, click Download Files, and then it'll ask you to save it or open it. You can open it and look at it, but you want to save it on your computer so that you have it for a reference. If you just open it and don't save it, then when this presentation is over, you won't have the copy. So you want to save that file, and the only thing that's not in there is the story of the Dreamcatcher. I put all of the instructions. So all of the instructions are right here. Files 5, click on Dreamcatcher's instructions, PowerPoint, and then download that onto your computer so that you have the PowerPoint with all the visuals there and the instructions. Okay, so let me know if you're having trouble downloading it. Okay, and then again, in this in the PowerPoint, I've also included a video where I'm actually showing you more step by step that I did with the kids, where I'm actually making it in front of you. So that's from a last year's video that I did. So if you need that, you can click on that now. If you click on that now, though, you won't be able to download this because then it'll start playing that video. But if you do make it, let me know because we'd like to see the final product. So send me a picture, and my email is knoller@compasscharters.org. I'm the 7th grade English teacher, but I've also been the 4th and 5th grade elementary teacher with Compass. So I taught this last year when I was in 4th and 5th grade, just as an extra activity, and they liked it. So again, if you have problems downloading the instructions, please let me know. Let me know if you can't download the instructions. Everyone able, so you should open it. You can open it and see it, but you want to make sure you save it. So it should pop up a window where it's going to say, do you want to open it or view it? I think it says open or save. And you can open it. It'll let you see it, but you want to save it. Otherwise, once the presentation's over and then I'm gone, you won't have the copy with the instructions. Okay, so does anybody having a trouble with that, or do they have that? Let me know. Let me know if you've got it. All right, I hope you've got it. Olivia and Haley, do you have the file? Did you download it? What about you, Elik? Did you download it? I'm not hearing anything, so maybe you did and you're busy looking at it. Okay, yes, let's see. I'm gonna have to get your email though. Let's see. Wait, Mrs. Settle is saying something. Oh, Mrs. Settle, can you email Elik's family with the one that says instructions? The one that's in the files is different than the one that I'm presenting at the top. So the one I'm presenting has the extra story. The one that says instructions just shows them how to do, so they have the files for the instructions on how to do it. Perfect. So then Mrs. Settle will send you the link or the PowerPoint, and that'll be what all the instructions that I just shared, and then you can go at your own pace with making it. Okay. And then I'm assuming Olivia and Haley, maybe they got it and they're looking at it. Did they get it? There's Haley. Yes, you got it. Perfect. So as long as you've got that file downloaded, then you are free to make away, and you can do it at your own. I know, because it'll take you probably an hour or two to actually make it, maybe a little less depending on how fast of a cutter or gluer, and if you have the supplies at home already. So yeah, but it turns out really nice. I've made a few of them, and they're very decorative, and they're, people pay to have those, and you can make your own. Oh, good. Oh, look, she brought the link. Oh, there's a survey. So Elik, Haley, and Olivia, can you guys fill out the survey so that we get, we know, so I guess there's a link there. So click on that link where it says Google Forms in the chat. I think you can do that from your phone too. So if you're still here, it just helps us to know if this is something that we should do again, or if if you liked it or not liked it. So we can do, I actually have another one about how to make totem poles. So if you like this one and we get positive response, I'll do one on making a totem pole. But that'd be maybe next year since the year is ending now. Anyway, thanks for coming. That's all I have for you. Just making sure though that you've got the instructions